What keeps you awake at night?
Sea levels are rising globally.
Fears fueled by horror stories.
Among the worst flu season in a decade, and it hasn't peaked yet.
We all know the atomic bomb is very dangerous.
Another series of deadly terror attacks.
I don't want to be blamed if you cannot get to sleep tonight.
Brianna, would you like to open today's episode with your great news?
Well, okay, so I have 2 bits of great news, which is fun for me.
It's a banner day.
There's a really exciting one, and then there's a not so exciting one, and the not so exciting one is I did get into PSU, which is something that I've been working for a long time, and it's just, it's been a goal of mine. I'm going to community college right now, and I've been thinking about this, taking class after class, just waiting to be in, a 4-year where I can really dive into my major, so it's very exciting for me. And then the more exciting news is that I have passed a level of Candy Crush that I haven't been able to pass.
Fuck off.
For the last 3 weeks. So, real pumped.
I hate you so much.
I would like to thank all of the people that were able to help me get here. And
all the little people, my agent.
I don't know, I just think it's fun just because, I haven't been able to pass it, and I literally just passed it before, recording this podcast, so I don't know, I just feel like, I just feel like you all don't really, support me in the way that I need to be supported.
Yes. This is great news, and definitely way cooler than you getting into PSU.
Okay.
Welcome to Things That Keep Me Up at Night.
Hello.
I am Olivia.
I am Brooke.
I'm Bree.
And today we're coming back to you with another mini-sode, as you can tell by the title of the episode that you downloaded for the podcast that you left an iTunes review for.
Yeah, you definitely did that, right?
If you haven't, please undownload this episode. And sorry.
Hey, can we pause real quick though, ladies, because my ferret is just now choosing to be a delinquent.
No, we're gonna keep this in because he's the
I can
best
finish
and we
my
love
bagel.
him.
I love my son. I have a ferret for the people who don't know. He's beautiful. I adopted him a year ago in February, so we're gonna have a little birthday party for him.
Oh God, that's so cute.
He's great. He's everything. But also, he likes to be rowdy whenever I'm recording the podcast.
Boy.
And
As
shake
with
his
most
cage for
Boy.
attention. Yeah. He's a very good boy.
Can't live with him. Can't keep him in a cage. Am I right, ladies?
Oh, I've tried.
We all have.
Anyway, you're like, is Matt okay? I'm like, no, he's fine. He's in the cage.
Right.
Today, my friends, we're reviewing a movie called XX. It's available on Netflix for all viewers that would like to watch it. What I was thinking, because it's not a complete movie, it's an anthology, so 4 different directors do 4 different clips.
Like short films,
not clips,
yeah.
Shorts. So I was thinking probably, ideally, it would be best for, one of us to summarize the first one, and then we talk about it, we go incrementally, because it's just...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just a background on it. Essentially, the premise of the anthology is that, there are not a lot of female directors, which I will say is correct. Mm-hmm. And so the intention of this movie was to give female directors an opportunity to direct. And
tell stories from, a female perspective.
And that is a noble cause.
Absolutely.
But I would have liked it better if it was successful.
Right. It just made it worse.
So let's just get right into it. Let's look at the movie that had a budget of $2 million and grossed $55,000.
And just so we have a framework. Last time we were a little bit squishy on how we did it. So one person is going to summarize, and then we're all going to say what was one good thing that we can say about the movie. What was our least favorite thing, our funniest scene, and then the takeaway or what we learned about ourselves through the experience of watching this movie. So that's kind of a breakdown of how each section is going to go.
Yes.
Yes.
Here we go.
Can I start?
Yeah,
Yes.
do you want to summarize the first short?
Right.
Go ahead.
So the first short, it starts off with, it's called The Box, right?
What's in the box?
What's in the box? Thank you.
Stop.
That was my Brad Pitt.
Which is basically what we were asking the whole time.
Yeah.
So basically, it starts off, and this mother and her son are on a subway, on a train, and they're sitting next to this kind stranger, and the stranger reveals to the little boy something in his box. Now,
Not
we're
his
already
penis.
like, I'm sorry?
Not his penis.
It
Not
wasn't his
his-
penis. Or actually, we have no idea. Okay,
Continue, Brie.
anyway.
So, and it basically, like, the boy's, like, face changes, and then it says, the box, and then you go into, like, their daily life, and they're sitting down at dinner, and the boy's, just simply not hungry. And it's, made a note of, but sure, he always eats, but around this time, he's just not hungry. He says, oh, well, what is it? Why aren't you eating? And he goes, oh, well, nothing. And they go, all right, fair enough, I guess. And so then this continues on, and the boy doesn't eat for 5 days.
Which
right?
is bad. Ladies and gentlemen, that's bad.
Yeah, you need food to survive.
You do.
Especially being a growing little lad. So, like, they try making him his favorite meals, they do pizza, and he's like, no, I'm not hungry, nothing. And then the father starts getting very aggressive over the boy not eating. Which, rightfully so, it's concerning. Eventually they take him to a doctor, and the doctor says, you need to get a psychiatrist, some form of specialist to figure out what's going on with him mentally, because it seems to not be a physical issue. And then it cuts to, just the mom smoking cigs in her house secretly.
Because
Do you
apparently it's
remember this scene?
1973 and it's totally
guess.
acceptable to ruin your drapes and painted walls by smoking inside of your home.
But it's like a
Right.
secret, which is so funny. Like, I just love this thing where she has like a drawer where she keeps these cigarettes and has to hide it from everyone. But then she walks into her children's room with the box of cigarettes.
And,
Like,
probably not smelling like
Right.
a bucket of flowers.
Those
smells
that's like the people in
purely
high
of
school
nicotine.
who are like, "Yeah, I got a lot of problems." And you're like, "All right." And they're like, "So many of them." And you're like, "Got it."
Yeah, that
and they're
sucks.
like, "Do you want to know about them?" And you're like, "No, I don't."
I'm
and they're
good.
just like shaking a box of cigarettes in your face. Essentially that. She was weird. The mom was
Yeah, the mom was bizarre, but we can get into that, I think.
yeah.
So basically, tension starts building in the household. The father is very concerned over his child's health. The mother seems to continue eating, and the father's now not eating. But
the daughter
dare
also
she?
isn't eating. So both of the kids and the father are now not eating.
Right,
Because
but this is the thing,
little
is when
boy
the mom
tells
walks
the
in-
girl and then the dad what was in the box.
Yeah.
right, when they were when she was coming in with the cigs into her children's room, that's when they told them. Right, it was like
Yeah.
the son was laying on his sister's bed, and the sister was like talking to him, and then the mom was like, "What are y'all talking about?" And then the sister was like, "Nothing." And clearly they were talking about what was in the box.
What's in the box?
Then the father stops eating, so the whole gang has stopped eating now. Now this is the big twist. It cuts to the mother on the dining room table being slivered, and just like the pieces of her being as being cut off her body.
Are you okay?
And the children are eating the meats as well as the father.
The
Meanwhile,
meats of mom. The mom meats.
the mom meets.
Oh, that's
Meanwhile,
what they
the-
serve at Mother's.
No. I
just logs off the call.
Bree has left the chat.
Good callback, right, guys?
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway.
Oh
but-
boy.
So it's just it's the climax, like of the scene is like they're eating weird prop Jello food that's supposed to look like human flesh,
Yeah.
and then the mom's like smiling throughout the whole thing, and then it just like cuts back to Christmas time.
I
Which
was
was
so
weird.
disoriented. It was.
Yeah.
I got it later, but it was not executed the way I feel like it was meant to be.
Yeah, it was supposed to be
No.
a dream sequence,
Yes.
but then it's like it cuts to like not only a Christmas sequence, but like Christmas sequence with narration that has never existed in the rest of the short.
Well,
Yes.
so it was at the beginning, and then it never comes back, and then they
Yeah.
bring it back for like the final 3 minutes of the short, which
And
is
you're like,
very weird.
yeah.
Also, the narration, we can get into it, but the narration was so unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like,
And so basically, it's her asking her son what was in the box, what was in the box. He's not answering. He's not fessing up because he's not a fucking snitch, right? Then it cuts to in the train, and then the mother like basically looks in the box and she figures out what's in the box, but we don't, and that's the end.
wait, what?
No, she never figures
That
out what's in
doesn't
the
happen.
box.
She does. She looks over and she sees it, right?
No, she
No.
doesn't.
Am I
The last thing
hallucinating?
that happens
Hello?
is she's monologuing to herself about how she wants to find out what he did to them, and then she like looks wistfully out the window, and that's the end.
Oh,
Yeah, she never finds out what's in the box.
Why did I
'cause
think
she
she
says,
found out
like-
what was in the box?
I
No.
don't know, but you had a
She
really
says-
hopeful ending.
The
in
last
there.
thing she says is, "I'm hungry."
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, what? Okay, ignore me. Anyway,
So Brie fabricated an ending because it was so unsatisfying,
Yeah.
which tells you a little bit about this film.
Yeah. So that's the summary of that little 12-minute bizarre short.
One good thing.
Yeah, narration was weird. Like so I guess let's answer the question for each short. What was your? Do we want to do the favorite thing first?
yeah.
Yeah, let's say one good thing.
Um,
Anyone?
Yeah, I'll go. I liked the practical effects that they used, like
Yeah.
the scene where they're slicing into her leg. That was really cool. They did that nicely.
Yeah,
that was
good.
like good horror.
Pretty
but,
dang
like-
effective. Also, the makeup they put on the kid.
Makeup was
spoiler-
great.
Yeah, they show anorexic children, so that's pretty disturbing. But
Yes.
the practical makeup was real good. It was convincing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Favorite. I mean, like, all of them acted well. Like,
Yeah.
writing aside, they were very good actors for what they were given, especially the kids, which, I have to give credit where credit is due. The
dad
acting in
was
that
all
scene was
right.
very good.
Yeah, that was okay. There were a couple of things where like the writing didn't do them any favors, like you said.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
yeah, they did fine, I think.
Yeah.
One good thing.
Least
one good
favorite thing?
Oh, hang on.
Oh. Oh.
No, it's fine.
Olivia
I guess
likes
we'll
to
just
do this
skip
cute
me. It's
thing.
fine. It's whatever.
Where she'll just skip either me or Brooke.
This is the Olivia show, so I guess we're just living in her world. So anyway, my one good thing, the cinematography was good. I noticed that, like,
Yeah.
even at the beginning, I was like, hey, this looks very pretty. That
Just
was
us
my thing.
desperately trying to throw them a bone.
I mean, there were a lot of things that were technically executed very well. I think that
Yeah.
the writing just didn't happen. Like,
No.
So it was the directors both wrote and directed?
I don't know that that's true. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know.
Because I don't know. I feel I agree. I feel like, cinematographically and like actors and like I feel like everything was great minus the script. Like there's
Right.
only so great you can do as an actor like with a shit script.
Right, yeah.
But the filming was great, the effects were great. It was it comes down to the writing, which I'm sure is going to be somebody's least favorite, which is
If
kind of
not
disappointing
everybody's.
because I feel like the director did a really good job otherwise.
Yeah, that's
you know?
the thing. Is it like, yeah, the photography, like the main photography was really good, and like everything that a director has to do was great. It's just they didn't have a solid script to work with, and even like the central conceit was like kind of weak.
Yeah.
There are so many things that bothered me about this film that were like. I'm gonna break my least favorite thing into two, if that's okay, because like
Yeah, go
they
ahead.
both bothered me the same amount. One, spoiler alert, everyone except the mother dies.
Yeah.
So, which to me is just baffling because they die of starvation. They would have been put on a liquid diet long before that happened. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely would have never in a million years happened. And that, that just took me out of it completely because I was like, this just wouldn't happen. Like,
Yeah.
why is this your script? And then the other thing was that the mother seemed to just not care about fucking anything.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
at all. And they tried to sort of fix it by A, making her a chain smoker, and B, the dream sequence where she's feeding her family her own flesh, because I think the idea there was she wants to take care of them, and so she's metaphorically feeding herself to her loved ones to get them to eat. But like it didn't
from that.
Yeah, because that's why she's like smiling or whatever. I don't know. The whole thing was yeah, right. So, but like that wasn't earned at all because she didn't care. Like at the beginning when her son was starving himself, she didn't seem concerned at all. And like when it was long past the point of, hey, this is a medical thing now, like we need to get our kid to eat, she seemed just completely disinterested, whereas the dad was like manic by comparison. She just didn't care. And and the dad like points out, he's like, how can you eat when our kids are starving? Which is like the least of the issues with her behavior. Like, how dare she take care of herself? Oh no. But like on the other hand, it literally doesn't look like she gives a shit at all. Like she's
like, oh my god, they're not eating. Takes a bite of hamburger, and you're like,
are you okay, lady? And like it's been 5 days, right? Like Bree said, since her son has eaten, and the father has to press her to take him to the doctor.
Yeah.
Like her response to that is, well, he doesn't have a fever. And I'm like, what? He's not eating.
Yeah, I feel like as a parent, I'm a pretty anxious person,
right.
But I feel like by day 2, if they've eaten nothing, I'm like going to a doctor. Like we're going to a doctor. This is a problem.
But also you got to think about the hospital bills. You know what I mean?
I mean, you don't have to take him to the ER at day 2. You can be like, hey, there's something not quite right. Let me take him to my general fucking practitioner and get some blood tests done.
Question, like, I feel like if your kid came in and, like, the kid was literally emaciated, I feel like somebody would have intervened.
Oh, yeah, you know? Like Child Protective Services? Absolutely.
Yeah.
What is this?
So...
No, the hospital bills comment was completely sarcastic. It wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather let my family starve, honestly.
Saving money.
No more mouths to feed. Lol.
What's your least favorite part, Olivia?
Yeah.
Olivia?
Oh, I thought you were saying, yeah, sorry. My least favorite part, probably the narration, I think, was my least favorite because it made whatever understanding I had of the plot make less sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like, oh, okay, he saw something that's in the box and he and his sister are starving and now the dad's starving. I feel like as a mother you should be concerned. And then, like, the narration, which we said we were going to touch on, was essentially, that was such a good Christmas. We were so happy. None of the clothing fit, but nobody cared. And it, like, cuts to, like, her daughter's emaciated frame with, like, her stomach dipping in.
That was so disturbing.
And she's, like, smiling there.
Yeah.
Literally, like, smiling and saying what a great Christmas they had. Which now that we're talking about it, I don't know if this whole writing was supposed to be, like, symbolic of her, like, having some kind of episode or if it's, like, a metaphor.
My understanding of it was that, like, so the thing that triggers this is the box that this guy has, right? Yeah. And he says it's a gift, and when the kid looks inside, his sister asks, what did you see? And he says nothing, right?
Yeah. So
my understanding of it was the guy who has the box says that it's a gift, and I think that the gift is to the mother who never really wanted her family. Like that, I think that's what they were going for. It was not on the page, but like,
yeah, okay, because I didn't get that. When you explain it, I can feel like I can tie it together and see that in it. But like, yeah, I mean that's the only way that I can rationalize this.
Yeah.
This behavior, because like she's in the hospital crying, and I'm like, you didn't take anyone to the hospital, like,
right.
So that was my least favorite, was the random narration, which wasn't consistent, but also just made the plot far more confusing. Because like, if that was the message that Brooke said that they were truly trying to do, that dream sequence was completely unnecessary, because that makes her seem like
sense.
Yeah, it makes her seem like she wants to feed them, but if the message is she never cared for them.
Right. Yeah. It's very confusing. And the other thing about the narration, that like 9 times out of 10, if there's narration in a film, it is completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
There's a part on the train where she's like, I went back every day to the hospital, and every time I was there, I looked for the man with the box. And like, it shows her doing that. You don't need to tell us. We're not stupid. We see it happening. Like, it's just, you don't need to narrate the shit that's happening on the screen.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, pet peeve of mine.
Well, I guess mine is just like the fact that, you know, because there's a lot of metaphorical stuff in film and like representative stuff, and I thought like maybe if like it could have been like a beautiful story if like the mother, it was talking about like postpartum depression, or like a mother having like an eating disorder or something, you know, like they could have done something.
Yeah,
but
there was
it
like
was
a thread.
There was no coherent thread for me.
Yeah.
It was just all bullshit.
Yeah.
That was just like, because I was like, okay, like maybe the box represents something, and like Brooke, like that's a great, like, I guess
An interpretation, at least.
Yeah, interpretation of it, but like also I don't think like even they deserve that interpretation. You know what I mean?
Right, because it wasn't on the page. It wasn't there.
No.
Yeah, it was just...
It was a mishmash.
So now,
It was
let's
a
move on to
mishmash,
the
wasn't
shit
it?
show that was the second one.
Oh god, I loved it!
Okay,
oh my
so
god.
also so I can summarize this one because this one's a piece of fucking cake.
I love it.
Quite literally.
So before we begin, the director of this, because they're all different directors. If I recall, there's an interview that they did with the directors in here, and the director of this short literally said in the interview, "I don't like horror movies." Which is very apparent.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So the summary is, woman wakes up, it's her child's birthday party. Mm-hmm. She's a little anxious, like she has some clear anxiety.
This one's called the birthday party, by the way.
What?
Yes.
This one's called the birthday party.
Yeah, it's called the birthday party. And she's a little anxious. She, I guess her assistant or something, some lady that's supposed to help her out with stuff, said that, I don't know. I never figured it out. She said that her husband is home. She's like, no, she's not. Walks into her husband's study. Her husband has died in the middle of the night, and I think it's suggested that he killed himself, right?
Yeah,
like he mixed pills and alcohol or something.
Yeah, he OD'd.
And so the rest of the short is her carrying her husband's dead body around the house to try to hide it from others, which makes no sense to me because she didn't want to quote ruin her daughter's birthday.
Yeah.
And then it the precipice of this is that she puts her husband's body inside of a panda costume and sits him in the middle of the room at a birthday party. And then it comes out, it's obviously he falls and somebody takes off the head and he's dead. And then the last slide is, what is it? I forget the daughter's name, but it's a scene from Charlotte's birthday party, which she suppressed. It wasn't her mother's fault, but apparently her therapist believes this has to do with her fear of intimacy, which makes no sense.
I love this. So, yeah. So at the very end, the dead dad is revealed because someone bumps the head, right? And then the kids scream, and then it cuts to these cards, title cards, and it says, "The birthday party," or "The memory Lucy suppressed from her 7th birthday. That wasn't really her mom's fault. And then in parentheses, even though her therapist says it's probably why she fears intimacy. And it
Which-
actually was. Like, what the
Which doesn't, like, why would that make you afraid of intimacy? I feel like it would be an emotionally scarring moment. But, what? Yeah,
Yeah, we don't
And
know.
so-
We don't know.
okay, I'll do my favorite was how ridiculous the plot was.
Yes.
Like, I have anxiety and I hate making people upset, right? And I get that, but I feel like if my husband died, I'm sorry, the party's getting fucking canceled.
Yeah, I'm
like,
calling
I
the
can't,
cops. What?
like, I can't get in a mood to, like, host a birthday party. Like, worst case scenario, like, that's so much better than hiding the body in your home.
I love
And,
this.
like-
I love that she didn't want to ruin the party, but then when it actually cuts to the birthday party, she is at the head of the table with a glass of what I assume is punch, and she's spiking it with a flask in front of
Yes.
everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
So that's probably my favorite part. God,
Oh,
yeah. So
I don't even know what was my favorite
Bree,
part.
do you wanna talk about your favorite part?
Sure. Yeah, I think my favorite part was, God, I mean, because it's just a mess. Was the fucking tension between her and like her husband's like
Secretary? Question mark.
I don't know. There was something
Yeah,
going on there
nanny,
though.
I think. But like,
Sneeze.
bless you.
Are you
Why did
fucking
you-
kidding me?
Why'd you say it?
That's
Did
how
you
I
just say
sneeze.
sneeze while
how you-
sneezing?
That's how I sneeze.
Okay.
I can't continue like this. I can't continue like this.
How have I never heard that? I've known you for years.
I don't know. That's how I sneeze.
Okay. Drop us a Twitter line if you think that that's bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, anyway, go ahead, Brie. The
Sorry,
nanny.
the question was what my favorite part was.
Yes.
Yeah. The
Oh,
tension.
the weird, like, fucking, the hair that bitch had. It
What
was like,
was that?
it was a wig between, like, fucking Betty Boop and, like, the fucking, like, futuristic, like, mom from, what's that one show? The Rockets or something?
The Jetsons?
Jetsons.
The Rockets.
Jets, Rockets, same
Yeah,
shit.
her hair was something else. But like,
It was,
what era was this even set in? I could not
No.
place it. Like,
I don't know.
all the moms who came in for the party looked like they were some weird cross between like Blade Runner and then like a 1950s sitcom. I don't know
Yeah.
what happened. I kind of dug it, but like it was very weird.
It was very
great.
bizarre.
Oh,
Brooke?
I can't pick.
got it.
I loved this because it was absolutely just a comedy, straight up.
Yeah,
Like-
100%.
It was so ridiculous from top to bottom. I don't want to repeat what Olivia said about the plot, but it was just
That was the best part. It was hilarious.
It was amazing.
Oh.
Oh, no. My favorite part was definitely the weird, unnecessary, stereotyped white mom that, like, there's a part where literally she just goes, "So, you know, my daughter is away at boarding school. You know, the one in Vermont. It's very difficult to get into. Anyway, she can't go to the party, but everybody's talking about it, so..." And then she just trails off. And then the mom is like, "Do you want to come to the party?" And she goes, "Oh, that's so wonderful. Thank you for the invite so much. I'll bring brownies," or some ridiculousness. This woman had no bearing on the plot except to be an annoying white suburban stereotype, and I fucking ate it up.
Yeah, it was fucking bizarre.
She was also bringing, she was bringing specialty cupcakes.
Yes, it was designer cupcakes. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
How could we forget?
How could we forget?
My
it was
least
so good.
favorite.
Yes.
So Your Movie Sucks did a review on this, which is really, really good, and I fully recommend that people like watch it after this. He had mentioned in his review, because obviously there's not a ton that he could put in his review without getting copyright striked. His comment for this specific one was how bad the audio design was.
It was
And so now watching it, I was like, oh shit, this is horrible. Because what they would do is like, again, this is a comedy, and I feel like in a lot of ways had a lot of potential of like a kind of quirky, tongue-in-cheek comedy.
Yeah, for sure.
But the audio design that they'd put in is like suspenseful music when people in horror movies are seconds away from getting stabbed, where she'd be like hiding in a closet, which I feel like warrants maybe some spooky music, but it would be like
So awful.
and you're like, why are the stakes so high in this
I
scene?
know.
And so when in his review he said, just to like fully like represent how insane this like design is compared to like what's happening on screen, he took out the sound and he put over like a cliche like rom-com track over it, and it fit perfectly with what was happening on screen. So that was my least favorite because it was so distracting. She would be like hiding behind a couch, and again it would have the intense like bass level 11 like suspense sounds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why, you know?
Yeah, no,
That was
I
my least favorite.
full agree. Christian
Yeah.
wasn't even watching. He was doing homework while I was watching this in the living room, and he was like, What is this? What is that music? Like, great question, buddy. I have no idea.
I love that
was
Christian's
rough.
like, let's watch a movie together. You're like, well, I have one for the podcast we can watch, and he's just like, what? Why? Yeah.
Yeah, it
Whew.
was rough. Bree,
So-
what was your least favorite?
Mine would definitely have to be the rapping panda.
Oh,
God, he was great.
that was bizarre.
We basically the way that she acquires the panda suit to put her dead husband's body in
Which is
is
something else.
there's a birthday gram at the door, which is just a man in a panda suit rapping about, her daughter's birthday, and is basically wishing her a happy birthday through the artistic stylings of rap. And it's just a clusterfuck of just horrible writing.
Hey, do you remember
And-
his hair?
Yes.
His hair was
yes.
insane.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was. I can't imagine. How would you describe it? Is it
It was
is
like
it a
halfway
weird
between
Ken
a page
comb over?
boy and like a bowl cut. I don't know. It was like pasted to his face. It was insane.
Also, my favorite part too is she said, "I'll pay you like $200 for the panda suit," and he goes, "Nah, like I think I actually need to send the birthday
2,000.
gram to the birthday girl," and she goes, $300, and he goes, "There was a down payment on this, and I haven't paid off for the suit yet," and then she goes, $1,000, and he's like, "All right, that seems like enough," but like what's the down payment on a panda suit?
Oh, no.
You know what I
No, no,
mean?
no.
It was $1,000 and 2 grams of medical marijuana.
No,
that's
2
what did it for
ounces
him.
of medical
yeah, you're right,
marijuana.
2 ounces.
Yo, medical marijuana from last year, which I'm sure is super
Doesn't-
fresh.
Hey, does
Yeah.
marijuana go bad?
No,
Yes.
no, it's forever. Shelf life forever. I'm sure it's
Shelf life
fine.
No.
forever.
Yeah.
I mean, it is an organic material. I imagine that it would decompose at some point.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to call bullshit on that one. It does lose its potency after
Yeah.
a bit.
Yeah, I
and if he
figured.
was a smoker, he would know that.
Yeah, come on,
Yeah.
man.
Anyway, that's we're sidetracked.
But he was so weird.
That again, another unnecessary character just to like interrupt her weird moving body escapades. Which also, by the way, where was she trying to move the body? Because
Yes,
like
so this was
she-
my thing.
Okay.
that
so
was
this is your
my-
least favorite thing.
This was my least favorite thing, was that there was no... I don't know what her motivation was. What was she trying to do with it? Like, I just feel like if the goal was, don't ruin my daughter's birthday, lock the door to the office, pretend you didn't see it.
Yeah.
Right? And then, like, deal with it after the party is over. But, like, she's just dragging it all over Helen Creation in this house, and there's no goal in mind. Like, she takes it to the living room and covers him with a rug, and then she moves him with the panda suit, like, back from the office. And it like, there's no goal. Also, every character was just a stereotype. Like, I know I said that was... Wah! There goes my microphone. I hit it because I was gesticulating wildly.
I was about to say, did you put it in a weird place? And you're like, no, I hit it.
This is my fault entirely. I just was,
Can
like, waving my arms. Sorry, everybody, for that sound, whatever it was. Yeah, I know I said that my favorite thing was this woman, this suburban housewife woman, and it was because she was just insane, but every single character was just, it was just a stock character. There was no thought involved.
Can we also
when
talk
putting
about the
this
fact
together.
that there was it was like a costume party?
Yeah,
and-
what?
Birthday party.
All the costumes were so funny! Oh my god!
One of the little girls was straight up a penis. I'm sorry.
Shrimp, Brie!
I'm sorry,
She
what?
was a shrimp!
Was that
What's
what that
wrong
was?
with you?
Was that what that was? It was just so okay. Anyway, moving
there
on to the
was
third
one
bit. Do
kid-
we want to move on to the third bit?
One kid was a toilet, and I thought that was worth mentioning.
I also love that she just fucking ruined a shower curtain and cut holes in it to make her child a ghost.
I mean, shower curtains are cheap.
Just,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, bed sheets. You know?
Hey. She was panicking. Her husband died.
And she had to move the body.
had
She
to
only had
move
an
him.
hour before the party started, and she had to move that shit around many times. Anyway,
Insane.
I fucking
Okay.
hate
Brooke-
it. It was honest, but I will say it's the best one because it still had laugh value.
Right.
Because we're about to get into the other ones.
Okay, so here's the thing. This one was called Don't Fall. I'm gonna go ahead and just summarize it. I loved this one.
Did you really?
I did! And it's not because it was good. I had like, a whole conversation with Christian about this after it was over because he, at this point, had just tuned out of his homework.
Yeah. I mean, you have to watch a train wreck, you know?
You do. So this one, top to bottom, it's these four people are camping, and they're hiking in this beautiful, spacious desert area. It opens on them at the top of what I assume is a mountain, but didn't look that high. And they made a whole show of, oh, don't fall off the mountain. Roll credits. So they end up setting up camp with their little RV. Things happen. Lesbians are involved. That made it sound like it was sexual. It wasn't. They're just talking, and also there are two lesbians. So, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
And then they all go to bed. Oh no, I'm missing the key thing. They discover this cave painting.
Yep.
And the guy that is apparently an archaeologist says that it's painted in blood, which is confusing because he dates it to before Native Americans, so like Homo sapien times, which would blood really stick around that long? I feel like it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Not
I have
important.
no fucking idea, man.
There's
Also-
I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's probably not a thing, but even if it is, let's suspend our disbelief. So
they're not supposed to be camping there either, right?
Right, so it's not like a campsite. They establish later that, like, oh shit, we're not supposed to be here. Why'd you take us here? And the guy's like, hey, it's pretty, right? And they're like, yeah, I guess. And apparently it's, like, sacred ground, hence the paintings.
White people.
White people, am I right, guys? So they go set up camp, they talk, funny things happen, I guess. And then they all go to bed, and the one girl, who I guess is the main character, has what I thought was a dream about being back at this cave painting, and then a weird horned creature that resembles the thing in the painting chases her, runs at her, and then it cuts, because you know how it do. Yep. One of the other members of the group inexplicably wakes up, decides to go out and look for her because she's not in the trailer. So I guess it wasn't a dream, ? He finds her, and she is a beast now, which, like, she still retains herself for a second, because she's like, we shouldn't be here, and he's like, what the fuck is going on? And then she, like, turns around, and her spine is, like, gross and weird and rigid and, like, spiking out of her back, and her fingers are, like, 3 times as long as human fingers, and, like, her face looks like the Exorcist face. Anyway, so she's, like, a beast now, and he goes running, and he does the one smart thing, which is to get the keys and try to drive away. And
Yeah,
everybody, of course, stops him because they're like, "Where's our friend?" And he's like, "We gotta go." And they're like, "No." And then, of course, Girl Beast gets them, and everybody gets torn apart. The end, kind of.
Yeah.
And that's, like, that's the summary, and there's, like, more to it in detail, but none of it really matters.
None of it matters.
So, I guess I'll start off with the one good thing, since I'm already talking, and it's like a runaway train at this point.
Yeah.
So, I liked the way that the characters talked to each other. It sounded like people. Like,
Yes.
Like-
Yes.
especially compared to all the others. Holy shit, the character chemistry was off the charts in comparison and normal by, like, human standards.
Which is
I
great.
bought that they had relationships. I bought that,
Right.
like, the two were siblings and that the two gals were dating. Like, I got that in spades, and I liked them, and I kind of cared about them. Which is hard to do in 12 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
I was super impressed with the script. The story is, like, another thing altogether. But, like, I was willing to forgive the lack of originality in the story for how much character work was done. I liked
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That was
that's
my
good.
thing.
That's good.
Good.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do Olivia, yeah.
I'd say I personally really liked the cinematography.
Yeah.
Script aside, like, I thought the shots were really interesting. I also really liked the set design. Like, it was really cool.
Yeah. It was pretty.
Yeah, I think visually it was a very pretty segment. Personally, I think that's my favorite. There's not a lot of build off of that, but yeah, I really like visually. I thought it was a really well directed piece.
Yes.
Brie?
I liked how they had a lesbian relationship in it. That was refreshing.
Yeah, that was a nice change of pace. It was a breath
Yeah,
of fresh
also
air.
wasn't-
like a lesbian relationship where it's not overtly sexual. You know
That's
what I mean?
what I was
Like, I feel
just
like
about to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't sexualized, which was nice. So yeah, that was fun to see.
Yeah.
Other than that,
not good.
I guess going into least favorite parts,
Yeah.
my least favorite part was just like, I don't know, the absurdity of we saw this cave painting actively move and kind of like morph in front of our eyes, and we're gonna stay here. Fuck off.
I missed that. I missed that it moved.
It moved slightly.
Okay, well.
It was very that.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah. Brooke, I
Olivia?
guess Brooke. Then you're
Yeah,
next on the rotation.
I guess I was willing to forgive a lot because I'm a sucker for good characters.
Yeah.
And not to say that these were, like, excellent characters, they just were humans that I believed existed. But I think that my least favorite thing was I've seen this movie before. Like, there was nothing new, nothing remotely original about the concept. It was pretty much just a stock horror movie that they stuck new characters in.
Yeah.
Right.
And, like, I don't know, man. If you're gonna write something, write it. Like, don't take a bunch of tropes that you've seen before and then, you know, put new characters into it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, that to me was probably the most disappointing part of it, was just, hey, I've seen this. This movie is just like a billion other horror movies that I've seen before, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Hate to take your thing, but like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I this segment we have almost nothing to say on because it
Right.
was just boring.
Yeah,
Like,
like there was
that's-
not much to it.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. I don't have many positive things to say, but I also don't have many negative things to say. It was just
I will say
mediocre.
what they did pretty well.
yeah.
Like, they, you know, it was all your basic horror stuff, but they did it pretty well. Like, you never quite see what the monster is, and like, there's suspense there. And like, oh, the other thing is that the characters aren't fucking idiots. Like,
Yeah, that was actually
Yeah.
pretty nice. That was refreshing.
oh my god, I was so happy that I didn't have to yell at the screen about
Yeah.
what fucking morons the characters were. Like,
Yeah,
even
like
at the
the-
end.
The first guy tried to leave
Yes.
immediately, And then the other two people really only operating on what they knew were like, why the fuck are you trying to leave our friend? That's
Right.
ridiculous. And then the last one was like, oh shit, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna run away as fast as I can. Oh shit, like I'm gonna die. Like, all very rational decisions. Like, even if like their decision to not leave is, I guess, like in context dumb because it's gonna get them killed, they didn't know better.
Right, of course.
Like, you know what I mean?
believed that was something I would have done. If someone was like, we gotta go, and I knew that my friend was outside, I'd be like, fuck you, I'm getting my friend. Especially if I
Yeah.
didn't know that they were a monster now. And,
Yeah.
like, the girl at the very end, everybody dies, but she runs away, and she falls, down this ravine, and she breaks her leg. And the first thing she does is takes off her shirt and ties a tourniquet around her leg. And I was like, hell yeah, that's amazing. No one is ever smart when they get injured, and she was.
Right.
It doesn't
Right.
last terribly long, but it was so cool to see her, like, know what to do. I was
Yeah.
Right.
impressed with that. I
Yeah.
thought that was really
It's
cool.
like looking at like a stock painting of ocean bluffs and going, this is an objectively very good painting,
Right.
but I've seen like a cajillion ocean bluff paintings, so it's not like I
Exactly.
would take this home with me. It's like, this is nice.
Yeah.
You know?
I enjoyed it. It was fine.
Yeah.
Are we doing
Yeah.
our last one now?
I'll take the last one, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go for it.
I'm gonna do my best because I didn't really fully understand what was happening. Am I the only one?
Okay, so if the
okay.
last one didn't have enough, this had too much.
Too
Right.
much.
my
Quick,
God.
I'll do a quick summary, and it'll make just as much sense as if you truly watched it with me.
Yeah.
Opening is a dream sequence about her like talking to a priest, like, or I guess a doctor,
He's a
but she's
doctor.
like holding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a doctor, and there's a lot of God analogies in there. But it's like the camera's super fucking tight on their faces.
It's
and
so
it's like just their
uncomfortable.
eyes.
Especially,
which is weird.
this is not for everybody, but my TV has like just a half-second delay on the audio.
Yeah.
So it was so funny when it was just this tight zoom on their lips. And it looked like a bad dub. It was great. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Wakes up from the dream sequence, goes to the kitchen. Background, it's her son's birthday. I guess the next day, his 18th birthday. He's kind of a shithead. And then you
a
find
little
out...
bit.
Well, we're going to get into it.
Yeah.
Kind of a shithead. She goes to school because I guess he had some behavioral issues. The behavioral issues is that he tore off a girl's fingernails one by one, which we'll unpack in a minute. We'll unpack that in a minute. The school refuses to do anything about it. They're like, well, what did the girl do to get her fingernails ripped off? And I was like, huh? Like, you know, even the mom was like,
Becky
you need
was
to
being
do
extra
something. And they're like,
bitchy that day. Like, what the fuck?
well, how short was her skirt? Maybe if she was wearing pants, she wouldn't have
Yeah.
all of her fingernails ripped off.
Yeah, it
was her bra
insane.
strap showing, Olivia?
What?
Was her bra strap showing?
Yeah, it could have
Oh,
been
that
that.
could have been it.
Maybe she
Okay,
brought it on
okay.
herself. Who knows?
God.
So she goes home. She's kind of like, it's really late, makes a birthday cake, has another nightmare about like the same sequence of her talking to a doctor, goes and like her son is home. I guess he didn't want to come home until later. She opens his bathroom door without asking him if that's okay, which I think in the grand scheme of things is kind of a shitty thing to do as a parent.
Yeah.
But
It's weird
the
though, because
floor
like, it sounds
is
like they're...
covered in blood.
Yeah, but like, they insinuate that he's fucking someone.
Yeah,
Which is
like he's
weird.
moaning.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
it sounds like there's someone else in the room.
Yeah,
And she opens the door, and of course he's alone, and the floor is covered in blood. And they just drop that thread. It's like, why would you
Yeah, it
lead us
was
to
weird.
believe
Yeah.
this?
So
So strange.
that was weird. She stays home. It's clear she's cleaning off his clothes of blood, and she's cleaning up the floors. And
Oh,
she's
and she
covering it up.
does an impeccable job, by the way. That shirt is fucking spotless when she
Yeah,
finishes
do you know how hard it is to get blood out of shit?
God,
Like,
I laughed so hard.
yeah,
She's
I
a
mean,
queen.
I'm kind of impressed. It was a completely clean shirt when it went up on that clothesline, which apparently clotheslines exist.
I guess so.
Right.
But yeah, and then like,
Ugh.
I guess the thread here is that like there are multiple people that like say really ominous things to her. So like the mailman comes up and say it's time for you to give your son back to his father, and she's repeated throughout the sequence that his father is like a playboy with multiple wives that he's gone through in Hollywood, which is so specific.
Very weird.
but then insinuates in that scene that, like, saying, like, he didn't understand the agreement that he made, and insinuates it has to do with the devil. We'll unpack that later.
That'll come back.
And literally the ending sequence is she goes to her son's room and then finds this box of, like, fingernails and, like, scales, and hides in his closet, sees him cutting off really long toenails with, like, yard trimmers.
He's got, like, pliers and he's, like, pulling them out. It's gross as hell.
Yeah, it's gross. And then they get into a yelling argument in the kitchen where he asks her to get on her knees and crawl to him.
And she does it!
Which is bizarre. And then the ending, which we will unpack because I didn't understand it, is they're intimately hugging, and she's telling him the story of how she was pregnant and it was draining on her and she was very unwell. And he's, like, crying and angry, and the entire room is dark. And then after her finishing her monologue, they both bleed from their mouths and collapse, and apparently they die.
Yeah. They crush each other is the bit.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's the bit.
I heard,
they
like,
crush each other.
crunchy sounds, but, like, I didn't get if, like, someone, if she had, like, stabbed them both, or, like...
No,
which,
they
like,
crush
with
each other to death.
Ha.
Yeah.
That doesn't
I didn't get that
make
at
any
all.
sense.
So I guess I'll talk about my least favorite part. I never got a resolution on what this was about.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought that I was just, like, I actually rewatched the ending to see if I had missed something.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I guess that's just what it was. My understanding, and just to clarify, was that she had sex with a dude and he made a deal with the devil so that she would give birth to the devil, and apparently people that she was with wanted to take her devil son because he was powerful or something, question mark?
Like, worship the devil, and they were like, it's the Antichrist, I want him as my god, or some weird bullshit.
Yeah, and, like, so I guess that's why he didn't get punished in school, because, like, they think he was quote-unquote special. They, like, insinuate that he, like, again, this whole bit is insinuations, which is why I've said it, like, 1,000,000 times. They allude to the fact that he is special, and she says that they've changed their names and moved around 1,000,000 times because people are following them, which I guess is the Satan worshippers. Like, my least favorite was definitely that they were unclear. I didn't get it.
Yeah, I didn't like most of this. Like, it's just from start to finish, it felt like they were trying to fit a 2-hour movie into 15 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's a tall order, and I don't think they were successful. Like, I just don't. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is that it felt... okay, for this being a female perspective, like, written and directed by a woman...
Yeah.
It was very male power trippy.
Yeah.
I was uncomfortable by how... I don't know, like, it glorified his descent into evil a little bit, and, like, with her getting on her knees at the end and crawling to him, like, it just sort of nailed that down real hard. I don't know, I just like and the fact that it made absolutely no narrative sense. Like, everything was an insinuation, and like, I didn't buy any of it. I didn't buy these people as people. I didn't buy the story. I mean, and, like, it's Satan spawn, so, like, what is there to buy? But, like, I didn't want to suspend my disbelief because it was just not... it wasn't good. I didn't care about these people at all. No. And, like, am I supposed to believe that everybody in that town was a Satan worshiper? Like, is that what I'm supposed to...
Apparently, dude.
Like,
I guess.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
I think my least favorite bit was definitely the crawling to the feet bit.
Very weird.
That was definitely the most unnerving part for me.
Yeah, also, like, I really didn't fully, like, explain how creepy it is. Like, he yells about him needing to return to his father, and then in a very sexually dominating voice tells his mother to get on her knees. Yeah. And I was like,
his exact words are, "I want you to kneel," and I'm like,
don't like that, don't like that, don't like that. And then she gets on her knees for some reason, and he goes, "Crawl to me." And you're like, oh, no, absolutely not. It was gross. It was gross.
I think the whole idea,
Awful.
I guess the whole idea is that he's the Antichrist, right?
Yeah.
That's the bit of it.
Yeah.
Which is like, it made sense to me, and that was fine.
Yeah, but like,
But like, see that like the concept made sense to me, but
Yeah.
the question of why never got answered. You know,
Yeah, no.
I would have much rather watched a movie about the thing that she explains in the kitchen than what we watched.
Yeah.
Because she, like, tells this whole story about how, like, I was pregnant with you and it was really draining, and then I suddenly realized that everybody wanted you for themselves and that your father had done something to you, and they did, like,
Right.
unholy things. But this doctor helped me and gave me money, and we got out of that city. And now we're
Right.
on the run, but it's safer. And, like, I
And
would
you're
have
like,
much rather seen that.
yeah.
Right.
Like, that at least would have made narrative sense. This was just like, nothing happens, and then my son is the devil.
It was
Right.
almost like they had done it and they realized, oh shit, nobody knows what's going on, and that one scene was supposed to summarize the entire
Yeah.
12-minute film, which was cheap.
Yeah, it was cheap.
Yeah.
It didn't feel earned at all. And, like,
Do we go with favorites?
it was bizarre.
it was
Bree,
so
do you want to
weird.
talk about your favorite part?
I don't know, man. I guess that this one for me made the most like sense. I guess like I don't know, dude. I just feel like this one was at least like, oh, okay, I get that he's the Antichrist. That's understandable. There's a weird Oedipus thing kind of going on, which is fucked, but sure. And, you know, so, like, I guess I got it was my favorite thing about it, was, like, I
Full
understood what was
disagree.
happening, but it was still awful.
Oof. Not for me, man.
No, I didn't understand it at all.
Like, I think understand in this case is, like, I understood what was functionally going on the screen.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
like, I didn't get why anything was happening. It was just
Right.
so weird. What was your favorite part, Olivia?
Right, so moving on.
Oh no, I'll think
Cool.
of something.
Shall we put in the Jeopardy theme?
No,
Yeah,
just
let's
curb your enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I honestly have nothing positive to say. Visually, the cinematography was objectively bad. All the shots were very boring. The colors were very mute. The cutscenes of her dream sequence were unnecessarily blurry with a lot of like close up. Story was uninteresting. I guess the acting was okay.
Yeah, it was
I mean, given what they had given to them as a script, it was unpleasant. It was an unenjoyable experience to watch that one.
Yeah.
I really wish I could say something positive, but it's hands down the worst one in the movie.
I agree.
Well,
I it's between that one and the first one, The Box.
the box was fucking. I can't. The box was the worst. Hands down
Yeah,
the worst.
both were nightmarish, but in very different ways. I'm gonna go with Olivia on this one. I think the only thing that was good about this, and good is a strong term, but like, it's hard to parse bad acting from bad writing. And I think in this case, they were fine performers.
Yes.
It was just a bad script. There was there's no coming back from bad writing, and they did their damn best, but it was rough.
Yeah.
I give them props though. They did fine with what they had.
For sure.
Like I at no point was I like, I don't believe that they're these characters. I bought that they were those characters. I just thought that the whole thing was ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought they were bad characters. if
Yes.
that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, I have nothing good. I have nothing more to say on that one. As a movie as a whole, I think my favorite thing was the cutscenes, like the transitions.
Those were so damn cool.
Yeah, so there was
Yeah.
like between the shorts, there were these little like cutscene transitions with a really fucked up, but artistically beautiful, like a horror movie dollhouse.
Yeah. with
And
a
all
doll's
of the
head.
like all of it was like stop motion, like, which I love, but it was done in a cadence where it moved really creepy.
Yeah.
And they had these really artistic shots, like an apple that moves like a beating heart, and then it slowly gets more decayed and then becomes like gross and infested with flies. Like it was very beautiful. Like, the shots were
unsettling
beautiful
as hell, but it was
executed
so awesome.
well. Loved it. So that was my favorite part of the whole film, was those transitions. They were incredible.
Yeah, and it told like a little bit of a story. Like the dollhouse. It's a dollhouse with a doll head. It's weird. Is like sentient and moving around and trying to like do something, and it's never quite clear what that is. And then at the very last one, it finds a dead hummingbird and puts it inside of a doll, and the doll animates and like becomes alive, ? And then it takes the hummingbird back, I guess killing this doll, and goes into this other room where there's like a human little girl sitting on a bench, and she's not animated. She is, I guess, dead. And she's got a little door in her chest, so the dollhouse puts the bird in this little door, and the little girl comes back to life. And so, like, you come to find that is the goal of this dollhouse from the beginning. And it's kind of sweet. I don't know. It's all very weird, and, like...
It was weird, but I loved it. I thought it was incredible.
It was great. And just
good.
aesthetically speaking, it was easily the most impressive part of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Do we all want to rate our most favorite scene to our least favorite?
Like, our most favorite, like...
Short
clip?
bit?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, for sure. Let's do that. Bree, you can go first if you want.
I guess my favorite bit was the don't fall one.
Cool.
Okay.
And that was like, out of 10, like, that was like a solid 6 for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of them
Not
were
your
great.
top
The
'cause
worst
it's
one-
great, but yeah.
Yeah, the worst one was the box, and that was just a 0. I'm sorry. There was no... that was it. That was it.
Okay.
But you gotta, how you get the other two? How did the
you
other
can, like,
two?
put them in order, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. The sun one was ridiculous. But at least it made more sense to me than the party one.
Yeah.
The birthday party one was just... I couldn't
dream.
couldn't get behind
I
it.
loved it.
I guess some mine, completely contrary to yours. I think number 1 is definitely the party one. Not because it's a good horror movie. I want to be super clear. As a horror movie, it's like a
Sucked.
1.
Right.
As a comedy, it's like a 5.
Yeah, it's like an easy
Right?
5 or 6 for me.
As a comedy, not as a horror film. So
is
it didn't
so
belong
hilarious.
in this movie, but it was standalone, maybe okay. So I think that's my number 1. Number 2, because I'm rating all these at this, but the last one is absolutely the devil one, was
For
my least
sure.
favorite one.
So did you like the box or the climb better?
I think I like the climb
fall.
better, just because
fall
again, like, it was just kind of neutral. Like, it was average.
Yeah, it
but
was
the
aight.
box one, like I said, what fundamentally bothered me was the narrative. The story didn't make sense and was dumb, and it might have, like, cinematically been more interesting, but it was less enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
Right.
That's my
Yeah.
rating.
I think mine's super similar to yours, but I think I physically enjoyed watching Don't Fall more than the
Right.
birthday party. But those are very close, just because
Yeah.
they're so different.
Yeah.
I love them both. And then those I think both would be right around the 5 or 6 out of 10 range.
Yeah.
Next would probably be the box, but by a hair, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's like a 2, maybe 3.
Me too.
Like, it was not
I could not.
just the
I could not
psycho.
do that.
I know you hated it, Free.
As a
And then the
I
sun
suppose
one
as
is
a
the
nurse,
last
right?
one.
Like you're studying nursing, is that right?
I was, and then I stopped.
Right. So you still got that knowledge in your brain, though.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
to watch that, God, it must have been so painful. And then
Yeah.
yeah, and I think again by a hair, the her only living son is the name of the devil child one,
Yeah.
and that's got to be in last place for me. It's just too much.
It's bad.
And
Yeah,
and
it was awful.
honestly, the thing that shot it in the foot the most is that it tried to be a feature-length film in 10 minutes.
12 minutes.
Yeah, like that was, I think, the thing that did it in. Ugh.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our review. That's our mini-sode.
That's our show.
Thank you
And
for tuning in.
Tip your
We'll
waitresses.
post something on Instagram and on our social medias to tell you what movie we're watching, so that way maybe you can watch it before and kind of
Oh,
experience.
yeah,
it won't
we
be a
should be
surprise
better
for
about
you.
Instagram. I've been not so good about that.
Oh, and Brooke's episode is next week.
Yes.
Are you excited?
Now that I've recovered.
So yeah, we'll be better about Instagram. We'll post more things. We'll let you know what the thing is for movie reviews beforehand, so you can watch it.
Yes, other thing. Our next mini-sode is another campfire horror story. So if you want your content posted, or not posted, but read, you can send that to our email at ttkmeup@gmail.com, or you can just DM us on any of our social media. Yeah, and we'll post that on Twitter and Instagram and stuff. Just in case. But that'll be real fun. That's in 2 weeks. So
Yes.
Perfect.
So I think, leave us some iTunes reviews. I said that in the beginning tonight because I'm very ballsy.
gonna double it up.
We have a website, ttkmeup.com. We have a Patreon.
We do.
We love interacting with y'all, so feel free to send us a
Instagram.
message or
Yeah,
Twitter.
we got 2.
MySpace.
We got 2.
We have a live link. We also have a God, what's another form of social media that's really outdated? Quick.
MySpace.
Sure
I already said
that.
MySpace.
AIM.
Yes.
We have an AIM. Thank you.
AOL Messenger.
Yes.
Um,
Omegle. We're on it constantly, nonstop.
Manually typed out emojis before picture emojis existed.
yeah.
We have a couple videos on live link.
Oh my god. We did get 2 tweets at us last week, and it made me really happy. Thank you guys. It was so sweet.
Yeah.
Happy to scar you for life with videos about hockey players getting their necks impaled by knives.
Also, the largest man-made explosion in the world. Okay. Thank you for tuning in. We love you all.
We love you.
It's
Love
been
you.
real. Deuces.
Bye.
See ya.